Hello and welcome to Power Tools to Success. My name is Phillip Ramphisa. I'm an author, a speaker, and a life coach. My mission is to end suffering by helping people with strategies to attain success, true happiness, and fulfillment. Live with courage and fulfill your life's purpose. What a year 2021 has been. It has been quite a challenging year with COVID. I'm sure you've had challenges in your personal life. It was just quite a year. This is the beginning of 2022. I've decided to make this podcast about how to have a successful and a meaningful 2022. How to have a meaningful and successful 2022. Well, and when I decided on this topic, in the beginning, this topic was how to have a successful 2022. And I thought, wait a minute, there's something wrong with that. Success it doesn't come without meaning, right? And so I added the word meaning to the title of the podcast. So then the title of the podcast became How to Have a Meaningful and a Successful 2022. And with the word meaningful becoming very important for the title of this episode, because often we do things and we work very hard and we get busy. And when we get busy on things that aren't meaningful to us, we don't get fulfilled. Happiness has to come with fulfillment. It is possible to be happy in a moment, but if you are not fulfilled, then you don't feel that you are satisfied with your life. This is the reason why I've added the word meaningful to the title of this episode. Meaning is important. Let me just tell you a story about what happened to me somewhere in the middle of 2021. I got quite busy, literally busy, with a lot of meetings, a lot of, family affairs, meeting my extended family, just doing a host of many things that many of us do in our lives. It was somewhere in the middle of 2021. For some reason, after a while, there was just something about me. I just didn't feel that I was satisfied with my life. And in fact, I was at the verge of almost getting depressed because I was frustrated. And I felt like my life lacked meaning. And at the time, I didn't have many challenges in my marriage or financial challenges. I just didn't feel fulfilled. Now, I'm the kind of person to spend time alone in solitude and reflect on my life and try to figure out what is really happening. And so in this instance, I did exactly that. I went out to my grandfather's farm and I took a walk and I spent time alone and I tried to really zoom into what was happening and try to understand why I wasn't feeling fulfilled and happy and why I was on the verge of almost feeling like I was depressed. And upon my self-reflection, I realized that I was busy, but I was not doing things that were meaningful to me. And this was the reason why I didn't feel fulfilled. Now, I'm telling you this because in this episode, I want to share with you 3 ways to have a meaningful and a successful 2022. But these 3 ways that I'm going to share with you will not work if you do not have the foundation. The foundation is to constantly do things that are meaningful to you so that you can begin to feel fulfilled. And in order for you to know what is meaningful to you, you've got to pay attention. Sometimes things that are meaningful to us are things that, we are not aware of sometimes until we get to a moment where we are frustrated and we're like, oh, I'm so busy, I don't know what I'm doing, I actually don't even know which direction I'm going, and I don't know why I'm doing the many things that I'm doing. Sometimes we are not aware of things that are meaningful to us. Now, attention and being self-aware is important in order for you to know what is meaningful to you. What is meaningful to you could be spending time with family. It could be having a little bit of time after a busy schedule or a busy week to actually exercise and go for a run. Or just like me, it could be being out there, spending time in solitude and with nature and reflecting on your life. Or it could be working on a small charity and giving to others. Or it could be cooking for your family. It is only possible for you to know what is meaningful to you when you pay attention. So as the foundation to the 3 ways that I want to share with you in order for you to have a meaningful and a successful 2022, well, as the foundation to that, know what is meaningful to you. Because even if you literally go and implement these 3 ways I'm going to share with you, if you don't know what is meaningful to you, then you're always going to feel like you are not in sync and your life is not fulfilling. And your life satisfaction is not going to be at the level that you would wish for it to be. So as the foundation, pay attention to what is meaningful to you. Now, here are the 3 ways that I want to share with you in order for you to have a meaningful and a successful 2022. Number 1, live on purpose. Live on purpose. That is very important. We live busy lives. In this day and age, we've got more choices for entertainment, for connecting with people. We've got many distractions, more than any other generations. In this day and age, we've got choices of, TV series that we want to watch. We can get in touch with people we want to chat to easily on WhatsApp or telephones, or we are just distracted. And so, in living in that way, with the demands of our careers and our business lives, it is easy to forget, why we are placed in this world. It is easy to forget why we are in this world and why our lives matter and what we are here in this world to fulfill. So number 1, in order for you to have a meaningful and a successful 2022, live on purpose. Now, when I tell people to live on purpose, most people tell me they don't know what their purpose is or they haven't found it. And that is really a long discussion to can have on this episode. But as a start, in order for you to find your purpose, you've got to spend time alone. You've got to pay attention to your inner voice as it guides you to your purpose. We have an inner voice inside ourselves that constantly speaks to us. It might tell you to start a certain kind of business, or it might tell you to start a certain kind of charity, or it might just, tell you to go out to a certain place and help people in a certain way. I have no idea what the inner voice might say to you, but harness it by spending time alone and trusting it. Start taking the easy steps. When it speaks to you, maybe you're walking and you're just out in a shopping center and you look at somebody in need and your inner voice tells you to, help them in a certain way or share your food with them. You start with those small steps and your inner voice is going to begin to grow. And also what is important about living on purpose is to realize that everyone that has lived to their true purpose did not live by the standard of the world, I mean, you can think of everyone that has done good and great. They did not live by the standard of the world. You can think of Nelson Mandela or Mahatma Gandhi or Mother Teresa or even Steve Jobs. They did not follow the standard of the world. They were daring enough to follow their true purpose. Now, supposing that you've spent time alone and you're able to hear your inner voice, you've got to be daring enough to not live by the standard of the world and to follow your true purpose, because it might require you to change your lifestyle or to compromise what you already know. You've got to be daring enough to follow it as it guides you. Number one, in order for you to have a meaningful and a successful 2022, live on purpose. Number two, practice self-denial. This is important. In our lives from a young age, we were taught that when we get what we want, that is when we are the happiest. Our parents always asked us about what we wanted. Would you like some ice cream? Or do this and I'm going to get you your favorite chocolate. Life has taught us that if we just get what we want immediately, then we are going to be happy and feel fulfilled. And this has been also perpetuated by the movies that we watch. And we see people just getting things they want. And we also just want to get what we want. And it feels like if we do, then we are going to be the happiest and the most fulfilled. Well, in this case, I have got, not so good news, because I want to tell you, you don't get to be happy and fulfilled by getting what you want. When you begin to practice self-denial and exercising things that lead you to your purpose, that is the time when you are going to be the happiest and feel the most fulfilled. People that are truly happy aren't people that just get what they want. I mean, hasn't it happened to you that you might have wanted perhaps a new car or a new cell phone, and you wanted it like completely with all your heart and got it, and 3 or 4 months down the line, the cell phone felt old and the car felt old. As much as you wanted it, maybe it didn't give you the happiness and fulfillment that you were seeking. What I'm saying is, we do not get happy and fulfilled by getting what we want. We get happy and fulfilled by practicing self-denial. So, number 2, in order for you to have a successful and a meaningful 2022, practice self-denial on the things that do not lead you to your true purpose. Practicing self-denial means that if your purpose or your goal calls for you to actually not watch TV for 5 days and write a business plan, then you gotta be disciplined enough to actually not watch TV and begin with your business plan. In order for you to be disciplined, what gives birth to discipline is self-denial. So practice self-denial, and that is going to allow you to attain most of the New Year resolutions that you might have set. Now, research shows that only 20% of New Year resolutions are actually achieved. So 80% of New Year resolutions are not achieved. Why does that happen? It happens because at the beginning of a new year, like, we're excited. We're like, oh, it's a new year. I'm going to do this and do this and do this. And my goal is to get fit and get the certificate that I've always been trying to achieve, and do this and do this. But as the year goes by, our energy wears out and we just stop pursuing our true goals because we get distracted. Now, if you practice self-denial on daily basis, you're going to move closer to your goal, and I promise you, you'll find that you are able to move closer to becoming happy and fulfilled. So number 2, begin to practice self-denial. Number 3, this sounds cliche, And most of us who are speakers say it all the time. Take action. Take action. Things don't happen if you don't move. Take action. So I'd like to encourage you to take the small steps towards your goals. Now, sometimes the reason we do not achieve our goals is because we think of the actions that we need to take in order to achieve our goals as massive. We're thinking like, we just complicate things in our heads. When you think of exercise, you might think, joining a gym and taking on a membership that's gonna cost you 1,000 rand, and it gets complicated in your head. When you think about starting a business, you might think complicated and think like, I'm gonna need 5 million rand. I'm gonna need to write a proper business plan. I'm going to need to try to find someone to finance the business. It gets complicated in your head. Then you're not going to take action. It is true that the things that we think about are valid and they are important, but the small steps count, because the small steps are what builds momentum. So what I encourage you to do, whatever your goal is, begin to take the small steps towards that goal. For instance, if you want to achieve fitness for this year, do not think complicated about it. Just get a pair of sneakers. Walk 150 meters. Yeah, I know 150 meters sounds like an incredibly small distance, and it might not, when you think about it, it's a small distance, 150 meters. So you get the sneakers, you come from, your work, and you get your sneakers on, you walk 150 meters, and you come back and you take your sneakers off. Guess what's going to happen the next day? The next day you might walk 500 meters and you might cover 1 kilometer, and momentum begins to get built. And if you do that for like a month, you start forming a new habit that helps you towards your goal. And that's why I'm saying take the small steps towards your goal. That is number 3. Take the small steps towards your goal. If you want to start a business, start with a small thing. Just research how other businesses in that market space you want to get into are doing. To research, you don't need to do a grand thing and sit on a computer for 4 hours and get complicated spreadsheets. No, you don't need to do that. All you need to do is to get an article. You want to start a business, a hair salon, or whatever it is. You want to start a trucking business, get an article or call somebody that's in that business. Talk to them for 10 minutes. Start with the small steps, because the small steps are going to lead you closer towards achieving your goal, whatever your New Year resolution is. Those are the 3 steps. Live on purpose. Practice self-denial. Take the small steps towards your goal. I wish you all the best on your success journey. I hope that this show is going to contribute immensely to your life, or maybe not immensely, but just help you towards achieving your goals in 2022. Remain inspired. Move all mountains and obstacles that stand in the way of your success. Do not dare give up on yourself and your dreams.
Thank you for joining us. To consult, reach us, or subscribe to our newsletter, please visit www.PhillipRamphisa.com.